In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet my brothers and my sisters with the greeting words of peace and of paradise in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Walaikum
Okay.
salam, sir.
How is everyone feeling this morning?
Doing fine by Allah's grace.
Fine by Allah's grace, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I'm feeling fine and still giving thanks and still striving hard in Allah's name to make my word bond. We are going to begin our session this morning with prayer. Let us bow our heads and pray in the manner in which we have been taught. Prayer position. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the beneficent, the most merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee do we serve and thee do we beseech for thine aid. O Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard thy teachings. Ameen.
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 So we are going to begin our session with the reading of the Holy Quran. We are going to read from chapter 75 this morning, the resurrection. And as usual, I'm going to open up with the introduction, reading of the introduction. So reveal at Mecca, 2 sections, 40 verses. This chapter is entitled The Resurrection from the Occurrence of That Word. In its first verse, the object of an oath, as already pointed out, is to point to an evidence of what is manifest to establish a truth. It is striking that the resurrection is here spoken of as evidence of the resurrection. It is really the spiritual resurrection that is evidence of the great resurrection. The clue of this contained in verse 2. I swear by the self-accusing spirit. The self-accusing spirit is the first stage in man's spiritual resurrection. It is the stage in which the inner self, man, asserts itself when he does evil. The human in man becomes stronger than the animal in man. In him, the human in man becomes stronger than the animal in him. While the first stage is that of the animal, the Amara, and this we find in chapter 12 and verse 53, footnote 1239. The second may properly be called the human stage. The third stage, that of the growth of the divine in man, is called the Mutma, inner. Chapter 89, ayat 27, footnote 2732. The awakening of the spiritual in man is thus spoken of as being an evidence of the great resurrection, while the resurrection referred to in verse 1 is the rising to life, spiritual, of the dead humanity brought about through the prophet. The revelation of this chapter must be placed at a very early date. So it doesn't tell us when this chapter was revealed, if it was the 4th or the 5th, but tells us that it was one of the earlier revelations. However, if we notice how the arrangement of this is also a part of our study guide when we read about the resurrection. But this tells us about 3 different stages. First stage is from the animal to man. Second stage is from the man to divine, that is the God in man. So we are going to begin now from section 1, the truth of the resurrection. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, nay, I swear by the day of resurrection. Nay, I swear by the self-accusing spirit. Does man think that we shall not gather his bones? Yea, we are powerful to make complete his whole make. Nay, man desires to go on doing evil in front of him. He asked, when is the day of resurrection? So when the sight is confused, and the moon becomes dark, and the sun and the moon are brought together, man will say on that day, whither to flee? No, there is no refuge. With thy Lord, and that day is the place of rest. Man will that day be informed of what he sent before and what he put off. Nay, man is evidence against himself, though he put up excuses. Move not thy tongue therewith to make haste with it. Surely on us rest the collecting of it and the reciting of it. So when we recite it, follow its recitation. Again on us rest the explaining of it. Nay, but you love the present life and neglect the hereafter. Some faces on that day will be bright, looking to their Lord, and other faces that day will be gloomy, knowing that a great disaster will be made to befall them. Nay, when it comes up to the throat, and it is said, who will ascend with it? And he is sure that it is the parting, and affliction is combined with affliction. To thy Lord, and that day is the driving. Section 2, the dead rise. So he accepted not the truth, nor prayed, but denied and turned back. Then he went to his people in haughtiness, nearer to thee and nearer. Again, nearer to thee and nearer is woe. Does man think that he will be left aimless? Was he not a small life germ, in sperm emitted? Then he was a clot. So he created him, then made him perfect. Then he made of him 2 kinds, the male and the female. Is not he powerful to give life to the dead? All praise is due to Allah. And this last ayat, the footnote here, 2623, says the giving of life to the dead not only signifies raising after death, but also spiritually raising a dead people to life. What is it that Maulana Muhammad Ali knew that some of these scholars doesn't know? All praise is due to Allah. So we're in the time of the great resurrection, the great awakening, the great getting up morning, and the dead are being raised to life, dear brothers and sisters. So we go into the study of Closing the Gap, the study guide, and we want to read from page 300 and 302 today. Okay, so Sister Bridget, you could begin from reading on page 300 from where Brother Jibril comes at the last paragraph.
Yes, sir.
And then read to where Brother Jibril comes back on page 302. All right.
Okay. So the first Brother Jibril to the last Brother Jibril.
Yeah, on page 300 is the last paragraph, Brother Jibril. And then when Brother Jibril comes back on 302. Prominent in our conversation. That's the paragraph, the last paragraph on page 300.
The last paragraph, Brother Jibril, the presence of your present violin teacher.
No, prominent in our conversation. That's page 300.
Oh, it's 300. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
I was on 302.
Yes, 300, sis.
Yes, and I read to 302, the last paragraph.
No, you read to page 302 where Brother Jibril comes back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Praise be to Allah. This article continues an interview I conducted with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for closing the gap.
Sorry, Sister Bridget, something is wrong. It's prominent in our conversation last night over dinner.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Last paragraph. Praise be to Allah. Prominent in our conversation last night over dinner was the factor of love in the learning process. Sister Aiki Agos shared her views and experience with us in her relation to her teacher, Jascha Hefest. You commented on that. No, we know that there are some subjects or areas of knowledge where the love factor does not seem to be a major factor in the learning of those subjects, even though it must be there to some degree for successful learning experience to occur. One may be in a computer school and your learning may be of a technical knowledge or nature. One's study may be in some other field, again, where the love factor does not seem to be as key as in other areas of learning. However, in the higher fields of learning, especially in the highest area of knowledge, where the subject matter involves the study of God, the love factor becomes more obvious and predominant. How important is the quality of love in the study of any subject, but especially in the higher area of learning? What position does love occupy in a student learning from a teacher? These high aspects of knowledge, and in your case, you're learning from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan. Love is never absent from a student who desires greatness in his or her chosen field of endeavor. First of all, we study ourselves. All of us have been given a gift from our Creator. The greatest joy and peace of mind is when a person finds the purpose of their being, for their existence, for their life on this planet, and the peace of mind comes not just when you dream about the purpose, but when you actually are working toward the fulfillment of your purpose. Once you discover your gift, you must love the gift and love the giver of the gift in order to become great with that gift. No, if it's basketball, if it's baseball, if it's boxing, if it's computer science, if it's medicine, if it's law, Whatever field of endeavor you choose to become great in, you have chosen that field. The worst motivation is to choose to be something for the sake of money or for vanity, rather than for the sake of service and glorification of God, who is the giver of the gift. In loving the gift, you automatically will fall in love with the one who teaches you how to become proficient in your gift. I don't know of any basketball player that has become great, a baseball player, tennis, boxing, music, whatever your endeavor is, that does not remember the great fondness, the teacher who made them excel in their chosen field of endeavor. So love is all the way through. No, the degree of love that is required to become a great, no, the degree of love that is required to become great in anything must be a high degree. But the greatest degree of love is required when one is to interpret the word of God. One has to be so in love with God that he or she knows God in a hint or a sign and can look at the word of God and is so in tune with God because the profound love of the student for God, the master teacher, that the student can look at the word and know God's intention in revealing such truth, such a truth, sorry. That's the highest level of love. Prophets and messengers don't reach that highest level. They reach, or I would say they come close to that level. But the Messiah reaches that level because his love for God is so magnificent and so great until he subordinates himself so totally to God that he becomes one with God. God lives in him and dwells in him and manifests himself through him. That cannot happen except with the profoundest degree, the superlative degree of love. If you put it in the cheap vernacular, when you love a person to the mostest and bestest, I say this with a smile behind it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay, all right. We are going to go into the exegesis of what we have read. So the floor is open. Anyone wants to begin?
Yes, sir. May I?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, so as we read, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan spoke about the gift that we have, that everyone has gotten from God himself. And some of us, in my humble opinion, with the understanding, is that some of us will use our gifts in the negative aspect of the work. For instance, for me, in my work area before Islam, I thought that my only gift or my main gift was doing nails. And now coming into the nation of Islam, it's much more than that. Where now I see myself promoting the word of God and help to teach and show persons that, sorry, sir, I'm lost for words. Yes, sir. So I think you're
Okay, all right, sister, that's fine. we had Sister Maria waiting. But as I said, sometimes it doesn't give an alarm to tell you, or a signal, a sound to tell you that someone is trying to come in. So my apologies, Sister Maria, for keeping you in the waiting room. But you are here with us now. So, okay, Sister Bridget, thank you for your attempt at the explaining of what was read. Anybody else wants to go on along and make an attempt? Remember, we are students in the classroom of God.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Donovan.
Yes, sir. That part of the reading for me, it is expressing to show that it shows me that based on whatever your talent is, we must use it to glorify Allah, God. Sometimes we are making a daily living based on whatever money we are earning based on our talent, but we do not give the praises in the right era because we say, well, we just develop a skill and that is it. But we don't see that deep within that our nature fit what we are doing in order to give thanks to Allah. No, whatever for me in my work field, I would have said that my father take me to trade, start me off at that time, and then I develop myself during the process. But after getting this teaching, I realized no gift not just appear like that. It have to really come from that source, that life source, and that lies with Allah Himself. Thank you, sir. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Brother Donovan. Brother George.
Yes, sir. What resonated with me what the sister read is when the minister said the messengers and the prophets come close to give that kind of love. Are you hearing me clear? Are you hearing me, Brother Minister?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. We hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes. When the minister said it, not saying the messengers and the prophets never loved God, but he said that kind of love that the Messiah come with, none of them come with that love. And we see that that's facts. Because as we know, you have to have a special type of love to come to Black people, to teach Black people, to have patience with Black people because we are so destroyed. You have to have patience, very, very, and even ourselves as Muslim brothers and sisters, most of us still don't even have that patience. So we can't even say we love our people to that level either. We have way, 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 way far to go because we don't have that patience. We see that as last night we in FOI too, and as we read the message last night, we had said when the messenger got the job, he has to think about it because he didn't want to say no in a disrespectful manner. So the Messiah has to have, he's a prototype. And in my humble opinion, I would say away from the originator and master Farad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad would have to be the third powerfulest man ever walk the planet Earth, in my humble opinion. So that's my extra thesis from what the sister read, sir.
Thank you, Brother George. Thank you. Anybody else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm just looking at the connection between, let's say, a gift given to us by Allah, let's say it's a gift in a career or a profession to earn, but somewhere within that, in you loving the giver of the gift, who is Allah, you have to find now that balance to say, okay, Allah has done this for me. I love Allah, so I love the giver of the gift. So by extension, then I'll have to now find a way to balance that to serve the people or to do Allah's will, which, as we have been taught, Allah's will for us is really to assist the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in raising the dead here in the West. So it's just that within that, brother, we have to find that that balance. And of course, it's important that we latch on to, let's say, a career or a profession or a hustle, as we might say, something that we love and not something that we're just doing just to get by. But it's something that we love, and strike that balance between that love of earning and also to give back, to serve, to assist in the resurrection of our people. That's my exegesis there, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Sister.
Yes, sir. When I look at it, the question was asked, how important is the quality of love in the study of any subject? If you're in any field, even in the nation of Islam, if you don't love it, then you'll be disgruntled. If you're not happy with whatever you're doing, he's saying you have to love everything that you're doing. Most mornings, persons will send greetings to you. Some of the reminders, they tell you that you are to be grateful. Grateful for what? Grateful for even being able to get up. So in here, apart from just teaching about love, it talks about gratitude. Gratitude to who? Gratitude to the originator of the heavens and the earth. Gratitude to God, who gave you life, who gave you this gift of life, so that you'll be able to identify your talent. What is it you're about? Here, in that, when you find your talent, people switch from job to job. Sometimes they say they're seeking, they're searching. You ask persons when they are young what you would like to become. And some of them would say, want doctor, they want the traditional professions. But then when you look at it, he's saying, whatever it is, love, the key word here is love. He said love is never absent. So whatever you're doing, if you're wiping the car glass and you think that is your job, that is your gift, you are the best body worker, the person who does duco, you are the person who is the best painter. Do it with love. When you complain and you're ungrateful, as we would say in our terms, in our culture, because we don't appreciate the gifts that we have, we complain. Even the gift for your body, which carries around your spirit, sometimes we are so ungrateful, we don't love the self that we have. So that is why we maim ourselves. Some of us, we color ourselves with tattoos because we are uncomfortable. Loving yourself starts, he says, love is involved in everything. So it means love is the essence of the entire human being. So you have to know, identify yourself so you'll be able to love yourself, so that you can be able to love what you do and see the gratitude you will be coming out, or the gratefulness of saying this. Yesterday you spoke about vanity, and look, it comes up, it says, the worst motivation is choose to be something for the sake of money or for vanity. Some of us, we don't do it because we love, we are vain. The Quran talk about vain talkers yesterday. I say we should avoid those company. And if you look at it, it say the service and the glorification of God, who is the giver of the gift. So we are vain rather than giving the glory to the Supreme One. We are vain. We think we did this. I was a person who did it. So the I becomes obvious. So the ego is now tripping. People don't appreciate who gave them the gift. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. You know, and the Holy Quran says the worst sound to Allah is the brain of an ass. And in truth, when I comes in, that's the ass brain. anytime we bring in I, you know, the 9th letter of the alphabet, which represents completion, when the Holy Quran says we are created complete yet incomplete, then we become an ass by itself. You know, that's ignorance, because there's no I here. There's only one I, and it's the I in I, you know, as the Rastaman would say. Brother Edwin, we are reading from page 300 at the bottom of page 300 to 302. So the last paragraph of page 300, where Brother Jibril comes in, the last paragraph to page 302, where Brother Jibril comes back. So you can just browse through and catch up, so that you can bring up those scriptures when the time comes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Praise
Yes,
be
thank
to
you.
Allah. So anybody else family wants to add?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So as the believers spoke, I thought about the music industry. Oh, we have so many talented brothers and sisters, but because their only aim is vanity, which includes money, then they'll do whatever it takes to get what they want, even if it means corruption. So these talented singers or actors present themselves nude because sex is the order of the day, you know. In regards to what Allah is trying to say, you know, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is telling us that our gifts should be the glory of God. And if we have beautiful voices, then we should have good characters with these voices. Dress properly in the public, speak properly, you know, carry yourself in a manner that will be pleasing to God, and still showcase your talent. And so that's my take on it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Bridget. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
All right. When we ask, look, he says, look at page 302. Now the degree of love that is required to become great in anything must be a high degree. And he used the English language superlative. So it means it is the highest. When you look at English language, that is the highest point when you're describing anything. Now he says, remember, he says, one has to be so in love with God that we can look and know. Jesus said, I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Now, why would Jesus say that? Because Jesus has grown so much in love with his Father, so we can see him. And we look at him and we say, well, this is how the Father would be here, because Jesus took on the attributes of his Father. Now look at us in the nation. You were given this gift of the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self. So we are now in a new frame of mind, but we have to be careful when we are communicating, when we are spreading the word. We forget who gave us this knowledge. So some of us, we think we put ourselves before, we don't remember, we don't acknowledge, we are in some spaces and we don't give credence to God, we don't give credence to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we don't give it to even the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. We put ourselves there, so people look at us and say, yes, you know this, yes, I find him so bright or whatever, because you are so profound with the word, but never, so the vain attribute will come forward now, because you're not giving any gratitude. You're so being ungrateful, so you are now the best. the vocal speaker, the person who knows the word. I can do this, I can do that. And then you miss the beat, you go off track because of your pomp, your pride. But the Messiah, it says, reaches that level because of his love for God is so magnificent. So he is now totally immersed. So you can't even know the difference between him and his Father. So that is what we have to strive to do. Minister Farrakhan told us that whatever I do, you be copycats. I don't mind, because we want to be better individuals. Not one blame, we can't put it. If Minister Farrakhan had said, done 50,000 rounds in his earlier development, look at him now, judge me now. I am so much into my Father, and everywhere he goes, he speaks about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We are to take on that style, copycat. So we are carbon copies of our leaders. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sister. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, one of the things that I am paying attention to is the fact that the minister speaks about whenever you love an art or a craft that you do, as Brother Donovan spoke about his art and craft and how his father trained him in that craft. However, he discovered that it wasn't his father that the craft actually came from. The gift didn't come from his father. So even though the minister is saying here that we love the person who trained us or taught us the expression that we have, whether it be an expression of heart or craft, whatever the skill is, we love our teacher. But it goes beyond the teacher, because if you love the teacher, you have to love the one who gave the gift. So that now goes beyond the teacher to the giver of the gift. And Sister Bridget mentioned our entertainers. Who is the giver of the gifts that we have as human beings? Now, anything the minister says that you do, that you don't love what you do, that's not what you are born to do. The minister says anytime you do something that you are born to do, you love what you do. You can't wait to do more of that thing, because that's what was placed in you as a gift or a talent. And when we recognize a gift or a talent, we use it for the glorification of the giver of that gift. Not for the glorification of ourselves, as Sister Diane just said. Because even if someone is articulate and they can stand and speak and have others listen to them when they speak, you didn't give yourself a tongue, a mouth, vocal cords. We are not the ones who gave those instruments to ourselves. We got those instruments from the originator. Now check this out. If I stand to speak, and when I stand to speak, the whole thought that is in my mind is, look at me, hear me, look at how they are going to applaud me or respect me because of the things that I am. That's vanity, and that is vain. And you have human beings who are like that. Human beings who can't wait to have people hear them. For what reason? To see them. To see you as the individual, not to see what God has deposited, or to see the God who made this deposit. And this is why Minister Farrakhan is so beautiful, because he doesn't lift himself up. And this is what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad saw in him when he said he will get you safely across the river on the other side. And he will not say, look at what I have done, because he's not a proud man. He's a very humble man. He will say, look at what Allah has done. And in truth, dear brothers and sisters, I believe for a lot of us, it's look at what I have done. I look at me. And so vanity comes in the part. And we can never bring people to God if we are in God's way, or God's path. We become obstacles.
Yes, sir.
And a truly righteous individual, a God-centered individual, can tell if you are an obstacle. Because they can tell this word is not connecting me to God. This word is connecting me to the speaker. Or this word is leading me to something else, but not to the originator.
Yes, sir.
Are to bring out the God essence within myself. So I'm a scholar now. Nothing is wrong with being a scholar, especially being a scholar of the word of God, because in that's true scholarship. You know, Minister Farrakhan said something to us on Sunday, which was so profound. He said, I am going to meet my Father to see if he approves me for my diploma. Some of us think we got the diploma. It's true. The minister, which is the greatest of all teachers, the greatest of all educators, the greatest of all orators, he said he's going to see. Notice there's no pride in that. There is no self-centered, there's no egoism in that. I am going to see if he approves me. If he approves me for my diploma. Some of us think we got our diploma already. And because I have my diploma, let me take it down and open up the space, open up the space again for conversation. Anybody else wants to add? As we say in Jamaica, my 2 cents. Or it can be 10 cents, whatever it is. Come on, family, we're having this discussion. And it's talking about the love of the student for the subject. And if you don't love the subject, you cannot endure. See, what does the Bible say about love? Love is not easily provoked. Love is not puffed up. Love hopeth all things. Love endureth all things. So no matter when you love, no matter what somebody puts on you, because it is not you that I love as a body. It is God that I love, that I see operating through this body. So no matter what the body does, you are going to put stuff on me, but you become like the sandpaper now, because you're putting it on me and you're making it hard for me. But I know that in you putting all that you're putting on me and bringing me through all you're bringing me through, torturing me and tormenting me, I'm not going to cuss you out. You know, the only reason why I'm not going to cuss you out, because I know that God is working through you to make a better me. So I can see past you. I can see past your face, see past your body, to see the bigger picture And always the bigger picture is, if I'm going to be a good student, then I have to endure in the classroom whatever hardships come to make myself into what Allah intends for me to be. The floor is open.
Yes, sir. So, as you spoke about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that's the exact words that he said, that we should stay in the classroom. Malcolm X never stayed in the classroom. Muhammad Ali never stayed in the classroom, and that's our biggest downfall, is to take ourselves out of the class. We should remain students, even if we think we master the craft. For me, I love to teach. Before Islam, I would teach my assistants when they come in. They know nothing, so I would teach them to do nails. Praise be to Allah. And coming into Islam now, I even love more to teach, and to teach and to teach on social media platform, exactly where I'm getting my studies from, which is the Nation of Islam. And as you say, as the reading says, if you love it, then you can't wait to do it. That's all you want to do. And that's my humble opinion, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Bridget.
Yes, sir. Earlier we said about me, and what comes to mind immediately, we have this song that we also chant, not really looking at it and examining the words. The writer was saying, look at me now, we then think me less than gold, trampoline, his success now. And the song is my success story. And he didn't give any nothing at all. He was so ungrateful. He was just saying, look at me now. Yes, look at you. Yes, you have gone, but who allowed you to get this gift or give you this break? So that is sometimes we have to think, even before persons will say they love the nation. And yes, how deep is the love? Because if we're in this, he says love is involved in everything. We are in this mission, and a sister step on your toe, and you know, where is the love? A brother said something to you out of line because probably he lifted his voice, but men are not to be punks. Men can say things firm without being disrespectful in the nation. So how you take that? So if we can't love ourselves and love the immediate family within ourselves, so that look at how families are. The biological family, sisters and brothers growing up, they fight, the war, but at the end of the day, they are family, so they love each other. Now, because of the nature and the environment, now sometimes you see they kill each other, and I'm sure they are so torn up because they know that, well, I didn't mean to, but because I couldn't rise above the emotion. I have a living example, real life experience, because my 2 children, they used to war every minute. But I would have to intervene and say, if we don't fight and quarrel one more day. But at the end of the day, now they are more mature. They are bestie, they call themselves, they are best of friends. You can't go between them. You touch one, you say something to one, you say. So this is a kind of love we must have for our brothers and sisters, for ourselves first, and love the man who is guiding us. So you love Minister Farrakhan. So when you go out on the street, because you love him and you know you're representing him, you don't do anything that it will carry down, because they're not going to say, Sister Diane, brother, student minister, they must say the Muslim, the Farrakhan. So try to develop this thing where everything now you're looking at things. One time we used to complain. I know, I used to complain when things bad happen. The Quran speaks about it, but when something good, me say, oh, God bless me. But look at it. Blessing should be in everything. Blessing must be in your trials. Blessings must be in your success, the story, everything that you have. Look at it. If you are so immersed into God, wanting to raise our people, wanting to be like the leader that we see, the example, love, he says, is the essence of all love.
Yes, and thank you, sis. And look at me now
Can I-
is one of the things that you would never hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say. You would always hear him say, look at Allah. And I remember the minister, I don't remember if it was Madison Square Gardens that he was, but he was having this men's only meeting. And the message so touched the men that they started to chant Farrakhan, Farrakhan, Farrakhan. And the minister said, stop. Farrakhan is born to die, but Allah is the ever-living. So say it like this, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah, God is the greatest. So it never should be, look at me. It should always be, look at Allah, because I am finite in my physical existence. How long can I live in this physical existence? So if you're keeping your eyes on me, when this physical existence is no longer present, who will you be looking at? And the minister says that's one of the mistakes that he made. He had his eyes solely fixed on the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was no longer physically present, he lost it. He lost his way. So dear brothers and sisters, as we are, on the landing, let us, slowing down. Let us reflect and keep our eyes as students, always as students. There will never be a time, as long as we live and as long as we breathe, when we will never be a student. Because as long as we are in his universe, learning from this magnificent book that he has placed out here, where if all the trees were pens and the seas were ink, with 1,000 more seas added to them, we would never be able to exhaust Allah's wisdom. So let us be humble as students, dear brothers and sisters, and he will bless us to continue to learn as long as we remain students. I see Brother Edwin's hand, but I heard somebody earlier, and I thought that was Brother Donovan. But Brother Donovan, if you don't mind, let's take Brother Edwin first, and then we come to you, and then we will close out because we are over the hour. Go ahead, Brother Edwin. You're on mute. You're on mute, Brother Edwin.
Assalamu alaikum, sir, believers.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm listening to you, brother ministers and the sisters of when I came on and hearing what he said. It's so beautiful, brother minister, to hear they come across, and it led me to think deep and deep down in love, to know that Allah, when he created himself, there was a wobble in nature, in the nature of Allah. But at the same time, it didn't bother Allah. But Allah looked down to the test of time and could see that humanity will become rich. This defected nature in us will give us trouble. And look how Allah go about it. There was a wobble which will cause chaos and mayhem in the nature of Allah. But Yaqub was born for that purpose, to take that away from us. Here we are today, brother minister, with all the chaos and mayhem, but out of that great love that Allah developed himself from non-existent to existent, from triple darkness to light, but yet still there was a defect. And all of this process that Allah bring about to take that away from us, that we can come one like him to overcome emotions, difficulties, because all of this is in the universe and Allah mastered them, but gave us that freedom of choice to master it as well, brother minister, that we can inherit the universe of Allah as he does. And he gave us scripture. He went back, brother minister, and gave us prophets to guide us. And now in our midst we have the Messiah. When Minister Farrakhan express love and demonstrate love, brother minister, every one of us, you know, we have the hair in our body rise, or the light in us lit. When we look and see how we demonstrate love, how did he go about it? And even studying his writings and his saying to see how this man go about to master this universe and giving us that chance that we can have a lifeline all and this universe that we can overcome. But how did we see the love of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan that we can follow him? How do we observe this? Because this world is still gave us so much offer that we can take out, and some of us, we count our success by the possession that we have, like what Sister Diane said earlier. We claim our success by the position that we hold in this world. And yet still, the Bible said we must seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. Yes, that's what Matthew 6:33 it said. But when we go to Mark 8 verse 36, it said, what will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lost his soul? So when we look, we are in the position of a leader. This is why, brother minister, when I talk over the few years or months that I was talking, I emphasize on the connection that those the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan plant in place to give us direction, because it's a part of the ground where we have to fall in obedience regardless of what may happen. We are humble because that is where the learning power will take place in us, that we can transform our life. So now here it said, what will it profit a man if he kill? But if you look into the book of Matthew, where in Matthew 10 and the 32 verses say, whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father who is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So Jesus is declaring now that if we look into the book of Luke 14:26, it said that we must first eat mother, father, sister, brother, children, even ourselves, before we're ready to become a disciple of his. I always look at that scripture, what Jesus means. No, here the leader come, he gave us the word. And that is the same one that is in John 1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Brother minister, we are so blessed that one come among us and gave us that milepost to hold on to, that we can hold on and truth and love and share it among us. But this world that we are looking back and give us some things, and we are mixing the two together, and it's not pure as it should today. So we have to so cleanly look at what the minister said and sharing with us, because we know, brother minister, reach the crossroad, that we know us to take up our cross, whether we love it or not. The cross is on every one of us self to carry, because this man now is not there to take that burden no more. He declared himself is all unto you. So he said, when we said in that prayer, say, oh, him, surely I have been turned to him who originated the heavens and the earth. Who are we turning to? He loosed that God and us now that way. So ever we turn, that one will help us turn to what we want to become. We are at that crossroad now, so we have to be careful, brothers and sisters. And when we say we love, love is all about learn and humility and studying to become one with that one who is leading us. And that's where the crossroad where we are now today, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam. And thank you, Brother Edwin. And you know, when you carry
Thank
that
you, sir.
cross, you know, brother, you have to have strength. So you have to have
Yes,
strength
sir.
in your legs, and you have to have strength in your shoulders, and you have to be strong mentally as well. So
Yes, sir.
how do we strengthen ourselves? Through study, as the brother
Thank
says,
you.
you know, and faithfulness and commitment.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Brother Edwin.
Thank you.
So Brother Donovan, did you want to say your piece before we close?
Well, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum
I
salam,
think
sir.
a lot has been said, you know,
Welcome,
and I've heard a lot even from, you know, even Brother Edwin a while ago and come on top of, you know, put the icing on the cake as well. But I just want to say, it all surround this, you know, when Honorable Lucifer can say to us, how deep is your love? Because if we love enough and deep enough, even if our fire has been outed, we can light it back. So even if we fall off the path, we can always get up and jump on back, you know. So there's nothing should be able to stop us within truth, because truth is a key, and it says only our righteousness shall sustain us in this time. So that's all, brother. I think you have said enough, and you have said something about sandpaper, and that really resonated with me, you know, because if we continue to rub against each other, even though you were not on the same path with me, then if you continue to rub, the love that I showed supposed to make you straighten up, you know, get smooth, even though you were grainy and rough. But that sandpaper, you know, will do a lot. So, and I think I see that sandpaper and the love where truth is concerned, you know, truth will be the winner. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, family, for sharing the moment this